too.
I think we have
That's
an
good.
episode name, Reverse
Yeah.
Birth.
Well, okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
Episode number
It didn't say
95.
live up top yet.
It's all right. I will be bringing that back up again.
Yeah.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 95 of the Bros Talking Soccer podcast. My name is Dave Knittel.
Ooh.
The two gentlemen speaking here are my brothers Christian and Matt. Christian, say hello.
Hi.
Okay, that's Christian for you guys. Matt, say hello.
Hello.
That's Matt. You know, we're gonna try to get his face in the entire time. He'll be moving all around, and that's what people love to see. We are three brothers discussing stories from around the soccer world, and we are prepared and I think ready to just jump right into the podcast.
Or
if you're listening,
some may call us three bros talking soccer.
yes, that's where that's where the episode name or podcast comes from.
Yeah, episode name. That's the
Episode
one.
name, whatever. We are live on YouTube, and feel free to interact with us as we go along here. If you have questions for us or have comments on anything we're talking about, love to hear from you, and or just say hello. You know, we'd love to hear from you. Christian, you ready to go?
I was born ready again.
Matt, are you ready?
There was a lot of rebirthing going on. And
There's a lot
people
of
be
births
born.
and born.
People
Lot
be born. Yeah, but
Of
yeah,
births. Okay, all right.
First births.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Bros Talking Soccer Podcast, episode 95. My name is Dave Knittel, and I'm here with my two brothers, Christian and Matt, to discuss stories from around the soccer world. Christian, hello, and how are you doing today?
Dave, you know, this weekend we had a lot of ups and downs. I had a roller coaster of emotions, but, you know, we power through it, and I'm excited. We're 1 month away from episode 100.
Yeah, how was the Union game yesterday?
I hate you so much, but I do appreciate you telling me before I drove down there, because I would have for sure.
All right. Well, I'm glad you didn't waste a bunch of gas. For anyone who doesn't know, Christian called me to let me know he was going to the Union game. He was very excited about it. I informed him that there was no Union game and saved him.
A what?
There was no Union game?
You did not say that.
Did I not?
The word that came out of your mouth was not English.
All right.
I heard him say that.
Okay. I'm a little tired. A lot of travel this weekend, so I apologize if there's more than usual mispronunciations. Matt, we'll bring you in. Hello. How are you doing?
Doing well, Dave. A little upset from Penn State's performance this weekend, and then the United States game seemed like it was going so well, and then it didn't at the end. Yeah, but how are you, Dave? How was your wedding?
It wasn't my wedding.
Dave's wedding. Yeah.
My wedding was fantastic 4.5 years ago, but the wedding I attended this weekend was great as well. I was the best man, so I gave a speech. I completely forgot it about 2/3 of the way through, so that was a little bit embarrassing.
Sounds just like you. Correct.
Yeah, I know. So that was a little embarrassing, but luckily I had it in my pocket, pulled it out. Thought I knew what I was saying, continued with the speech, and then forgot a little bit later on. So I had to go to the paper twice, and that was a little embarrassing. But beyond that, I mean, fantastic weekend. Saw a bunch of people I haven't seen.
You're no Brandon Shemtab.
I am no Brandon Shemtab, but
Almost like you don't speak for a living.
Yeah, I know.
Podcast.
yeah, well, exactly.
I mean, you have a podcast, so.
Yeah, well, this is all off script. Okay, I tried to go on script. There's a big difference, guys. Yeah. Anyways, but it was a fantastic weekend. Saw a bunch of friends I haven't seen in years. Saw family and all of that, and that was fantastic. But I'm a little tired. A lot of travel going back and forth from the West Coast to the East Coast in a short amount of time. But getting back to what Matt was saying, yeah, the men didn't do quite so well. But shout out the U.S. women's national team qualifying for 2019 World Cup.
USA.
Yeah, absolutely rolling in qualification. So I wanted to give them a shout out.
Does the third team, because the two automatically qualify, I know Canada also completely
demolished.
Yeah. They played Panama, right?
Yep.
So, does the third team, do the two semifinalists, do they play?
Yeah. Yeah, because the third place team goes to the World Cup. So this is also serves as World Cup qualification. So either Panama or Jamaica will be going to their first Women's World Cup ever. So congrats to them as well. And Canada, too. Christian, do you have a trivia question for us this week?
Dave, I do, and it's about my favorite young English lad. I hate this guy, but you know what? I can't tell if I'm more surprised that Spain gave up 3 goals in the first half today or the fact that he scored 2 of them. So Raheem Sterling scored 2 goals for England today. Do you guys know how many days it's been before that since he last scored for England?
All right. We will think on that, listeners. You will think as well. We'll give our guesses at the end before Christian reveals the answer in a glorious ceremony. And podcast is ready to start. We're going back to reverse birth order. So, Matt, over to you for Matt's
Reverse
time.
birth.
Reverse birth.
Yeah, I don't think that's a thing we should, consolidate. That is reverse birth, but we'll keep going. Yeah. So, hey, thanks, Dave, for that intro. Welcome to Matt's time here on this podcast. Sorry, my phone is slipping, and Dave doesn't like when my mouth isn't showing.
Well, yeah, it just looks ridiculous.
Sorry. Okay, yeah. So I'll start with. Since we're on the topic, Raheem Sterling today. He scored twice in the first half. The first goal was very nice, and the second goal was nice worked play, ball across from Harry Kane. So, do you guys think that this scoring drought? Do you think his performance over the last, 3 years? I'm sorry, I kind of ruined that trivia question. He hasn't scored in a couple of years. We'll tell everybody that. Do you think him scoring matters that much to his game because he's played so well at City? Do you think it will reflect any differently scoring for the national team? I'll start with you, Christian.
I'm so glad we're starting with me because I love to talk about Raheem. I really don't rate him highly as a player in terms of finishing and just creativity in the final third. He's so fast, but as Matt highlights all the time, he could be the best player in the world if he learned how to kick a ball. He's so incredibly agile and fast and just can get into places that he needs to be. But when it comes down to it and the final decision in front of goal, I feel like he just makes mistake after mistake and he just doesn't make good contact with the ball. And I think he has the talent, but he kind of wastes it over and over again. So the goal, I think, will help. Well, I guess he had 2 goals, so 2 goals will help. His confidence, which might increase his goal tally, and he might become a better player because confidence really can take you far as a player. But I don't see him being a real threat to the Ballon d'Or ever in his career.
All right, Dave.
Yeah. So, the question wasn't, is he going to win the Ballon d'Or, right?
It kind of was.
Okay, all right. But you're taking it and saying, is he going to be the best player in the world? I mean, he can serve a very useful purpose without scoring goals. And let's just clarify. I mean, didn't he have 20 goals last year? It's not like he doesn't score at all. He just gets himself.
But let's highlight the chances that he missed, which are pretty blatantly awful.
But the fact that he gets into those opportunities and those areas to miss the chances is why he's on the field, right? He pulls defenses out of alignment, and he still serves a purpose, whether he's scoring or not, by getting into those positions. And obviously if he adds goals and final product, that's going to help. But no, I mean, he's still a very talented player who can serve a purpose even if he's not scoring. I mean, look at Giroud, right? He's not really I know it's a completely different player and completely different situation, but him playing as center striker for France, during the World Cup, he didn't really score, but he opened up a lot of opportunities, and he's kind of doing the same thing at Chelsea.
So when you say he didn't really score, you mean he didn't score?
Yes.
He scored 0 goals.
Yes, I understand that. Thank you for clarifying. Yes,
he
scored 0
people
goals.
may have gotten confused by the really in that statement.
Okay. Well, thank you for helping the listeners out. I'm sure that's the only reason why you wanted to do that.
But
100%.
But then again, isn't Giroud France's third highest scorer all time?
Yeah.
For the national team.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, I know. We're not talking about Giroud then. We'll move past that. Okay. So for me, Sterling, I actually think he's learned how to kick the ball out of nowhere this year. That was my only criticism of him. For the last 3 years he's been on City, I want to say.
Sure.
4? Yeah, sure.
No.
I don't think it's 4.
Okay, yeah.
Not important.
So this season, it seems like he's connecting with the ball better. So I don't know if it's something Pep did or he just needed to mature for age or he just developed in his style of play. But it does look like he's starting to become maybe one of Man City's better players. And I think that's going to reflect on the national team. I don't think scoring goals when he starts so often for England, I don't think his confidence was ruined. I don't think it's going to completely change him, but I think he's developed over the last couple of years into a great player.
So when you say Man City's better players, what do you mean by that? Where in the rankings?
I think he might be our 5th best player this year. He's
Maybe.
been so good. All right, anyway, why don't you think he's good?
Because he's a snake.
Very objective of you.
Yeah.
No, I really just don't think he's got like the ability in front of goal, and I don't think he makes the right passes in dangerous situations.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you're entitled
And
to
he's
your
a
opinion.
snake.
Yeah.
Like Fang.
And
No,
another
Fang is not a snake.
Snake is he's a
Fang is
drag.
anything
He's a
but a
Spyro.
snake.
Okay, another thing from that game. Paco, am I butchering Alcacer? Is that how
It's
you
Alcacer, I believe.
Alcacer?
Yeah, or
Okay.
Alcacer.
He's
It's
been
one
on
or
fire.
the other.
Yeah, he's been on fire this year. Do you guys see him moving up to one of the bigger clubs? I know he's on Dortmund now, but like he's only played like 300 minutes this season. I want to say he has like 10 goals.
Yeah, it's something crazy like that.
I mean, he was on
Do you guys
Barcelona.
see him move? No, but I'm saying like, will he be able to, go into?
I don't.
Because he didn't really play there.
All right, Dave, go ahead. Sorry.
Huh? If you feel passionate about this, run with it.
Sorry, I just know I've watched him. He was on Valencia, and then he was on Barcelona. At Valencia, he was a real stud. People had him like as one of the best strikers in the world at that time. And then he went to Barcelona, and I know the competition there and the just level of quality is completely different. But he's not a player who I think is going to make it really big at a top club. I think he's a good player. I think he's kind of similar to Iago Aspas, where when they're on a little bit of a lower tier team, they can really shine when they're the star player. And I just think that's where he's going to fit in.
Dave?
Yeah, so he's later 20s, right? He's like mid to later 20s.
I think he's mid 20s.
Okay, I thought he was like 27, but I could be wrong. I don't know too much about him, to be perfectly honest. I mean, obviously, if you keep scoring goals at the highest level, you're going to attract the attention of bigger teams. So if he keeps scoring at the pace that he's going at, a big team might come in, whether it's Bayern or if he moves back to Spain or another team, sees that goal scoring production.
He's 25 years of age.
25. Okay, so yeah, he's still got time. He's not as old as I thought he was. So yeah, I mean, if he keeps scoring the way he is going, I think a team might come in. Now, whether he can perform at that level, I don't know. But I think he absolutely could get that opportunity.
Okay, fair enough. I think, for me, like I feel like Dortmund's a good place for him. It's they play in the Champions League. It's not like a much of a bigger club you can go to, especially since he's already been at Barca. So, I mean, I'm happy for him. And, he's killing it for Spain. He's killing it in the minutes he's got for Dortmund this year. But I think he's probably at a good place in his career at where he's at. Do you guys have any other comments about those two?
Nope.
All right.
Nope.
Keep moving. Okay, yeah. So this week, was it this week or last week, where Henry was given the manager position at
Thursday.
Monaco? Thursday? Okay.
Yeah, I think it was officially announced.
Yeah, so if you didn't know, Thierry Henry is taking over at Monaco where he started his career, correct?
I believe so. I know early in his career, that's where he kind of made his name.
Okay. I know, Monaco is struggling very much in Ligue 1 right now. Do you think he's going to be able to turn it around this year, or do you think this is like a couple-year process where, more players are going to want to go to Monaco because he's there? Or Dave? Yeah, I'll go with you.
So I think it's going to be an interesting case. I think, we see this with Gerrard and Lampard and maybe some former players who get given opportunities that they wouldn't necessarily have, just because of who they are. I think Henry's case may be the most high-profile example of it, because Henry is really only managed as an assistant with Belgium. So this is a pretty big job given the way Monaco likes to operate. I mean, I know they used to spend enormous amounts of money. Now they seem to focus much more on the academy and really developing players. And a lot of times the star, like world-class players aren't the best managers because they can't relate to kids kind of developing, and they can't manage the people that aren't at the highest talent level. So I think it'll be really an interesting case. He may be able to attract players to Monaco, but I don't know if that's really their business model and what they go after. They're much more about development. And so I don't know if he is the right appointment for a club like this.
All right, Christian, as you mute yourself. There you go.
Sorry, I was clearing my throat. I was ready. I was getting ready, and I didn't want the listeners to hear. Okay.
Wow, very considerate.
I know. I really look out for the listeners. It's the second time today, listeners. Don't forget. Okay, so I think that this is actually a really good appointment. It's somebody who knows the club. He was there in the beginning of his career. He'll be able to nurture people. And for some reason, I know when he was younger, he was a little bit more of a hothead. But as he matured and became like an older player, I thought he mentored players really, really well. Like even with Messi, he was really good with him when he was young. And I mean, look at what he's done. But I feel like even at the Red Bulls, like, he was really good.
Messi. Damn it.
Yeah,
I was going to say that.
Yeah, it is definitely a fact that Henry created Messi. I just think that he did a really good job at the Red Bulls at like being the face of a club and like kind of mentoring a lot of players there. He went back to Arsenal, and I know that obviously he's a huge legend there. He just seems to be like a really high profile person, and he does seem like a good leader. So I compare him a little bit to Gerrard in that respect. Gerrard was a captain for a lot longer, obviously. But I think that they're similar in the fact that they will be successful as managers as well.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with that. Like pretty much everything you said, like how calm he is now, and I feel like he is relatable at this point. I know, well, this summer it's a completely different gig with Belgium and how many stars they have, but I mean, like this summer, like it felt like I read like some article, like the players couldn't really talk, or they like didn't really listen to Martino, or
Martinez.
Martinez, yeah.
Roberto Martinez.
Yeah. Martinez. Like the players weren't listening to him too much, and like when Henry speaks, the players would listen. So I think that's probably good for the environment he's going in. When he speaks, you listen because he knows everything about he's done it all. So I feel like this probably is the right appointment.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely commands the respect of people. Now, whether he can properly motivate them and organize a team and put all of the pieces together as the head man, this is a really high profile appointment for him, having no experience doing something like that. It would have been one thing to pull a Zidane and go into the academy for a couple of years and figure things out, or take maybe a lower profile job. I know he was rumored to be going after the Aston Villa one. I don't know if that would have suited him a little bit more because it's less high profile in the sense of whether it's expectations or just like honestly like quality of players. You can ease into things maybe a little bit more, and here it's kind of coming into a relegation fight. They shouldn't be in a relegation fight because they have too many resources for it, but they're quite frankly in a relegation fight right now. And just their business model I come back to, they're not a team that goes out and buys players that they need to command respect from. A lot of times it's more up and coming players that are looking to learn and develop. And he may have those qualities. He just hasn't proven it,
Yeah.
But how does that differ for you from like Gerrard, who took a job at Celtic, which is a high profile club in Scotland?
Rangers.
That's the one. That's the one. Sorry. I always get them confused,
Yeah. Well, that's a slightly different situation because Rangers is a former glorious team that is trying to rebuild after going bankrupt. And so, again, the expectations are high, but again, they're not expected to immediately compete with Celtic from like a reasonableness perspective. I know
but Monaco's not expected to compete, obviously, this year at this point.
I feel like they won, was it 2 years ago?
2 years
I know,
ago.
but right now they're like he's walking into a job where they're saying, okay, just get us back up the table slowly.
Yeah, but also Scotland versus Ligue 1 is a very different proposition. I mean, Scottish soccer right now actually is kind of wide open, and we actually have a question about Scottish soccer we'll talk about later on. I didn't know we were going to get real detailed into Scottish soccer, but it's actually wide open in that race. But it's only 12 teams. It's a very different sort of animal than a top flight, Big Five league with 20 teams, or I know it has 20, but Bundesliga has 18. But it's a different proposition and a different level of pressure from my perspective.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair enough. Another quick topic that I just remembered. Usain Bolt. He's playing in the Australian, their top flight, right? Or is he the second?
So I think he's on the second team in the top flight. So he's playing with the reserves. I don't think it was like an official like first flight match.
Okay. Well, I saw rumors coming out, or his agent said that clubs in Europe are trying to sign him, like clubs with Champions League aspirations. Do you think there's any shot that he makes his way into a Champions League team? I mean, I doubt it's going to be one of the big ones, but do you think there's any way?
I mean, is there a chance he makes it into one of like the ones who barely make it in? Yeah,
Like Red
there's
Star
a chance.
Belgrade.
Yeah,
No.
but no, he will never play for a big team. I'd be absolutely shocked if they picked him up at this point. How old is he? He's in his 30s, right?
32.
Yeah,
32.
there's no way. I mean, he's incredible athlete, like the fastest person ever. So
Yeah.
it's really cool that he's joined into soccer, and that's just another person in the soccer world who's going to attract attention. But no, I can't imagine he'll ever play for a Champions League team.
I'm in agreement. Don't really have much else to say there.
I think he actually might, because I feel like it's gonna be like the Tim Tebow effect. You know, teams are just gonna because of like who he is in the media, and the amount they can attract, like for their commercial, like the value of having Usain Bolt on your team. I could see him going to a team and maybe not performing that well, but giving a shot for maybe 2 years, a year or two. I mean, but it is late in his career.
Yeah, and I also think it makes a slight mockery of the other players and whatnot. I'm sorry, Matt. I interrupted you. I thought you were done.
No, I was done. But I mean, why would it be a mockery if he possesses tools and skills that no other player has?
But what tools and
what is
skills?
he, 6'5" and fast? Like, you can just get into positions. Like, if you're that big and that fast, for a player like I don't know.
Ibra? I mean, Ibra has
standard...
those, but he's not fast.
Okay, yeah, and exactly. Ibra was...
Well, Ibra has the skills. So, like, we all played soccer. We know that physical skills, the argument that if NFL players played soccer, we would be dominant as a country, I think is a fallacy, because soccer is not just based on the physical skills and tools, or physical schools. I don't know what's going on over here. There we got noises. I don't know. I'm the only one here, and we got noises coming from over there. So God knows what's happening.
A spooky ghost.
Yeah, Halloween's coming up. But soccer's not based on physical skills. It's based on reading of the game. It's based on technical ability. And someone who didn't play soccer his entire professional life with Usain Bolt, I mean, he could have the physical tools, but the tactical understandings and the nuances to play the game at the highest level, as well as the technical skills to control a ball under pressure and all of those things, I just don't think he has, especially at a Champions League level, let alone like a top flight level in a kind of bigger soccer country.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I see. I mean, I don't think I'm hoping for him, but realistically, it probably won't happen where he's, starting in a Champions League match.
Yeah, the physical tools can only get you so far, in my opinion, and he doesn't have that skill set. You mentioned like he'll be able to get into position, but that's a mental side of the game, knowing where to position yourself. And yeah, he'll be able to make up for it just a little bit more than somebody else, probably, just with his natural speed and size. But yeah, getting into positions is a game of center backs and attackers all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Do you guys have anything you want to add to this topic or any other
No,
topic?
I'm good.
All right. Well, that concludes Matt's time here on this podcast. Thanks for joining me. You'll listen to some music, and we'll be right back.
All right, good stuff. Those are good topics.
Yeah, I forgot I wanted to talk about Usain Bolt.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, those were great on the fly additions. So great work, Matt. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, let me plug Stadium Scene real quick, and then we'll be right back at it. Hey, everybody. What's going on? Wanted to give a plug for our partner, StadiumScene.tv. If you are going to a stadium in the U.S. or Canada, you want to visit StadiumScene.tv to check out reviews and recommendations on where to park, how to get to the stadium, what bars and restaurants to check out both before and after the match. If you're going to a match afterwards, head to StadiumScene.tv, leave a review, and let people know about your experience. In addition to all of that, they partner with content creators like us at Bros Talking Soccer and offer all different kinds of sports content, blogs, YouTube videos, podcasts, and so much more. So go check out StadiumScene.tv for all our content, as well as tons of other sports content, StadiumScene.tv. All right. Forgot what we were doing is called. This is a podcast. I realize that now. All right. Let me grab my timer.
Didn't he have the timer?
I was going to say, he was doing it.
He definitely had a timer.
What was, no, he had his phone.
Sorry, I didn't have this before.
Yeah.
What's that?
You had your phone. You had your phone. You were timing on your phone earlier.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. But I like this better because I can
What was
see it.
that?
My phone keeps
What
locking.
was it at?
So it was at 1350 or so.
Oh, nice.
When
Perfect.
no, when I stopped it. But then you add, because I thought you were done, and then you added his Usain Bolt. So I don't know.
Oh.
We were like, I don't know,
17 and a half,
18.
8.
Yeah, exactly. But we're good.
17 and a half or 8.
Yeah. Yep. That's how numbers work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's Spotify or something, but our listens like jumped up a bunch per episode. We're at like 140 we're like averaging like 140 like over the week, which is really good for us. So hopefully we keep that going, keep that momentum going. All right, Christian, you ready?
I am ready, Dave.
Okay, timer's on. Get ahead.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Christian's Corner. We're ready again. I'm very excited to be here with Dave and Matt, and we're going to hop right into some topics here. Oh, hey, Dave. Hey, Matt. What's up? All right. So first topic I'm going to discuss here is Jordan Henderson's comments on his two managers, Jurgen Klopp and Gareth Southgate. So this week he was talking about the differences in their management styles and how drastically different they really are. He was talking about how Gareth gives them more ownership to the players as a group, and that was in English, so I'm going to try that again. I'm going to say Gareth gives more ownership to the players as a group, and he wants them to like have input and like kind of come together to make their own tactics. And he says Jurgen kind of makes the tactics, and everyone just follows along. They just kind of sit there and listen and do exactly what they're told. First of all, I want to get your opinion on, do you think it's a good idea to go out into the media and discuss these things in public? Dave, I'll go to you first.
So, I mean, I think it's fine.
He wasn't like talking. Yeah, and he wasn't like talking bad about anybody. He was just describing it. But
yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, he did. It's not like he got into the nuances of Jurgen wants me to sit, and then this is our pressing cue, and like giving away details. I mean, I think when he spoke generally, the way that you just read the quote to me, I think that's completely fine.
The way he the quote goes on, and it almost sounds like he prefers Southgate. So I mean, I feel like he's almost walking into a little bit of trouble there. But Matt, sorry, I'll go to you before Dave gives his second thought.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a problem with what he said. It's not like he was really speaking bad about Klopp. I mean, he can probably prefer. I mean, yeah, he's professional athlete. Like you try to keep things out of the media, but like he's just speaking his mind a little bit. I mean, you can obviously prefer something, and he's like the captain of Liverpool. I don't think it's gonna affect that in any way. And
yeah, it's time for Fabinho to come in. Screw you, Henderson.
Yeah, and both of the both England and Liverpool, been fairly successful, in the last couple of years. So I think I don't think he's there bad about one of the managers.
Okay. Dave, did you have something else you wanted to add before?
Yeah, so I mean, I think it also is like a national team versus club team situation where like the national team manager doesn't have a ton of time to implement tactics and things like that. So I think it's almost more natural for him to leave it more generic and open versus Jurgen Klopp, who's with these guys. He has preseason, then he's with them all day. He can implement more specifics, and I think it might just be that as well.
I know, but isn't that a risky? I feel like it's a risky move, especially an international team like England, who have a lot of rival players playing together. I feel like there's so many contrasting like styles of play, and almost there is that rivalry, but we have talked about that in the past. It's definitely not as strong as it once was.
It's not a problem for me. If there's a question for me, go ahead.
That was just in general. It's for the listeners.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say on like the rivalry. I don't think rivalries are they're dying down with how much they mean. I mean, fans have their own rivalries with the players, like we've said before, like the social media and like the fact that they're all friends now, and like how like often they switch teams. Like all the English players are friends. Like, I'm not sure if 10 years ago the England team that probably had much more talent, if they were all friends. I feel like that's probably more beneficial if like the rivalries are kind of dying down.
They definitely weren't all friends. You can hear them talking. Like Ferdinand, Terry, Gerrard, and Lampard and Scholes all talk about it all the time. They were not friends. Just FYI. All right. Dave, did you have anything else you wanted to add? Sorry, it looked like you did, but then you got quiet.
No, I let Matt go, and whatever I was going to say wasn't important enough to remember. So,
yeah, that sounds about right. So next, just to piggyback off of this, I don't know if you guys heard the story this week about Jurgen and Sarri on the sideline. Did you guys hear about that?
Which
During the Chelsea game?
were they hugged? I don't know. You need to get more
before that.
specific.
Sorry. No, I was just wondering.
Which Chelsea
like
game?
was a big the one at Stamford Bridge in the league. So with 10 minutes left in the game, Liverpool were still losing, and Jurgen Klopp was just smiling on the sidelines. And so Sarri asked, "What are you doing? Why are you doing that?" And he's like, "I'm having fun, aren't you?" And so they both just like kind of like hugged and thought it was hilarious. Which like the fourth official apparently like didn't know what to do because they like were approaching each other. I just think this is just a hilarious story and that just like sums up Klopp. And I feel like Sarri, I don't know if you guys have been listening to him, has been like really praising Pep and Klopp all season long. He just like kind of loves them, and it's almost I don't know if he's buttering them up to like soften them or if he really just likes that. And I don't know how you guys feel about that type of either the story or that type of management. Matt.
I love everything about Sarri. Just like the way he just looks on the sideline and like he kind of does give off that like Klopp vibe. Just like he does seem like a happy guy and kind of encouraging his players. So he doesn't seem like a guy that is very like standoffish. So I think he's probably genuine about this.
Yeah. Dave?
Yeah, I'd agree with it too. I mean, he plays that proactive, style of soccer that we all like to see. And, I just like him. I mean, he seems like a guy who's sometimes just seems like he's almost puttering around just with his body, like posture and stuff like that. And what he's wearing, but he clearly knows what he's doing. Yeah.
I think he's just always itching for a cigarette. So he's like freaking out all the time. Matt. Ooh.
Yeah. I just want to say, just like it was the Community Shield. I didn't watch any of the preseason games, and like I didn't know what Sarri looked like from Napoli. And they had like an assistant. They had an assistant like standing coaching who was like dressed like much nicer than he was. I was like, oh, I didn't expect Sarri to look like that. And like as the game goes on, I'm like, who the hell is this old man in tracksuit standing at the halfway line? And I was like, oh my god, that's Sarri. Like, and I just like loved him ever since.
Yeah, that makes sense. You guys have anything else to add on this?
I'm good.
No? Okay, we're going to move right along here. All right, so we're going to talk about Antoine Griezmann. He has been talking a lot in the media recently. He really, really thinks that he deserves the Ballon d'Or. Like, really, really thinks so. He first said he thinks that a French player should win it and no one else should be even considered, considering France won the World Cup. We'll start with that one. Dave, what do you think about that?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Like the way that these awards go, I understand because that seems to be whoever wins the biggest tournament needs to get the award. So whether that's Champions League or the World Cup, but that's not how I feel. I feel it should go to the player who played the best over the length of whatever time period the award stretches for. So I don't agree with it.
Yeah, I mean the last two World Cups didn't have the winning team have a player in it. So Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, that was gonna be my exact point. Like,
oh, sorry.
2006 was the last time Cannavaro won the Ballon d'Or, right? And that was the last time the World Cup champion, retained like the Ballon or got the Ballon d'Or. So I mean, I don't have a hang it because I mean it's ridiculous for him to say it, but like for his perspective, I mean the last couple of years it does seem like whoever won the biggest tournament got it between Messi and Ronaldo. And when those two do kind of seem more vulnerable this year, to not retaining, the trophy, I think he does make a good point. He should be top three, and I think he's right to think he was the best player, but I don't think he's going to get it.
Yeah, and he also said he thinks he's sitting at the table with Ronaldo and Messi. It was one of his quotes. I just think that's ridiculous. He had one good year. Like, in my opinion, I feel like no one should say that. After 10 years of consistency of scoring 50-plus goals, you really can't put yourself in that frame. Even at 30, 33, I think, is Ronaldo. They are still the two most dominant players in the world. It doesn't matter. And I feel like he's putting extra pressure on himself and almost comes off as arrogance to treat himself that way. And I was listening on ESPN FC, and they were talking about, should Diego Simeone like try and calm him down, or do you think that's good for his confidence to act that way? Matt, what do you think about that?
I think it's great for his confidence. Like for me, I'm probably similar to that. I think.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, so I think you should think you're the best player on the field no matter what. Like I think like that mindset's good. Like you want to be better than the person in front of you. Like I don't have a problem with him saying it. And this year he might have been just as good as Ronaldo. Probably not as good as Messi, but I mean, he beat. I mean, well, actually, where did they finish in the league? No, Barcelona ran away with the league.
Yeah.
Trying to think of like the last year when they played each other. I mean, I mean, I think it's fine for him to think that. I want a majority of my players thinking that they are the best players in the field.
Okay, Dave?
Yeah, I was going to say pretty much the same thing. I mean, they're professional athletes. They should strive to be the best. And if that's what motivates him or if that's what he truly believes, I mean, that's great. That's what you want. You don't want him to just be content not being mentioned at that table. Whether we believe it or not is a different story. But him saying it and him believing it, I don't have any problems with.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'm not for that type of attitude, so it's all good. But, I mean, you should have confidence. Absolutely. I feel like he should probably think he's the best player on his team because he is. But when you compare yourselves against elite players who are being compared with the best ever, to say that is just – I mean, he wasn't saying he's the best ever. He said he's the best this year, but I just can't imagine that's even close to true.
Yeah, and that was the other thing I wanted to address. I mean, just because of what they've done in the past shouldn't influence his comments now, right, Christian? Because it's not a lifetime achievement award, or at least it shouldn't be. So him saying that he deserves to be at the table with Ronaldo and Messi after his performance this year, I think is valid, right? And so you can't factor in their dominance over the last 10 years because that shouldn't factor into the award. It's what have you done for me lately? How did you perform this year? So that's where I stand.
And finally, do you think he will be in the final three for the Ballon d'Or, Matt?
Yeah, I think he should. I think he'll be like third.
Okay. Dave, what do you think?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know if he will be. The final three?
Actually, yeah, I'm going to take it back.
I think he just
Yeah, no, because I did see like the voting for like the World Player of the Year and just how they voted for that. And I'm going to take it back because I saw like he didn't get that many votes, so maybe he's not getting the respect necessarily.
Yeah, but now the Ballon d'Or is given by a French magazine, so I don't know if that influences things and maybe puts a little bit more weight into the French players. So no conspiracy theory or anything like that, but that's just a legitimate comment.
No conspiracy, but probably.
Did it used to be a vote between the captains and the?
It is still a vote,
wasn't it? I thought it was the vote between the coach and the national team captain. So
FIFA combined the World Player of the Year award with the Ballon d'Or for I don't know 5 or 10 year period, and it just split back off. So I don't exactly know who votes for what anymore. But yeah, it is two different awards now, and I don't understand how the voting works, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, actually, they said that. I don't know.
The voting for the FIFA, that's the one that came out like a couple weeks ago. That was one where all the captains and coaches voted, and that was what I was looking at.
Yeah.
So
maybe this is the media one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Which I feel like if it's the media one, it's probably going to be Messi, Ronaldo, and Modric, just the final three. That's my guess.
Oh God, I forgot about Modric.
What about
Modric?
Salah?
Yeah, and Salah's not going to be in the final three. No. Okay. I think that the way he started this season is going to play a factor before they start voting.
Is that how it works? Yeah. Aren't the votes already in?
I don't think so. Are they?
I don't know. I always thought that they did these voting like months ahead of time before they actually announced.
And we still don't even know if there's a vote.
Yeah,
that's true.
So we are just
we're all
spreading misinformation left and right here.
All right, you guys have anything else to add on Griezmann here?
No, I'm good.
All right, final topic here. I'm going to jump into one Leo Messi. He got an offer. I don't know if this is true or not, so I'm just going to throw that out there. But, I mean,
continuing the misinformation.
You never know. Yeah, I just love this section. It's all Christian's Corner conspiracies. So,
fake news.
Yeah. So, he apparently got an offer to triple his salary to join Manchester City when Pep Guardiola first came in. First of all, Dave, do you believe that happened?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah. I remember hearing about that like a while ago.
And if that is true, do you guys think that it was smart for his career to stay where he was, or should he have taken that huge pay increase to join another league and maybe cement his legacy at another team, because that's what people are saying he needs to do? Dave?
No, he doesn't have to do that to cement his legacy. He's perfectly fine financially. I mean, he makes a ton of money, even with his wages tripled. I mean, once you get to that level, like, I don't. How much more would that do versus?
Well, triple is a lot more.
Yeah,
3 times as much.
But he also makes most of his money off endorsement.
Exactly, that's what I was getting at. So if he makes 25 million euros at Barca, that's where he plays.
That is the team.
75 million at Man City. I mean, that is a hell of a lot of money. 50 million euros. But if he's pulling in, 80 million in endorsements or whatnot, it's just such a different world. So from his legacy perspective, no, I think his performance at Barcelona has already cemented his legacy. He's competing at the top level. It's not like he's not even in the Champions League or something like that. He's winning titles. No, I don't think he has to move to cement his legacy.
Matt, what do you think?
I think his legacy is fine. I think a couple years ago, when the Messi Ronaldo debate was much hotter, they would always say Ronaldo did it in Premier League and Messi didn't.
On a rainy night at Stoke.
Yeah, exactly. Messi couldn't do it at a rainy night on Stoke. Yeah, so it's I think that has kind of been thrown out the window, especially because the Premier League hasn't won a Champions League in however many years. How many years has it been?
2012.
Wow. Yeah. So I don't think the league seems to be what it was maybe a couple of years ago. People probably still thought that Barcelona was playing in the Farmers League, as people like to call legal, or call that an easy league where with 2 teams. But I think he's cemented what he's done the last couple of years and how good Spain has been, where people kind of just stopped that argument.
Yeah. And I agree with that. I don't think he needed to leave, and I think it was probably best that he honestly didn't leave. I think people would have called him a money chaser and maybe actually have doubted him as a one-club player. And I mean, I think that plays into his personality too. So it would have been a huge change for him, and I think his family and everything is happy where they're at. So that's all I had to say on that topic. I don't know if you guys had anything else.
I'm good.
No, Matt?
I think Sterling probably would have displaced him in the team. Messi would
true. By now, for sure. Yeah, that must have been it. After how many years it took him to score for England again, huh? Let's hint back at that trivia question.
Hey, call back.
All right, so that wraps up Christian's Corner here. I'm so glad you guys stopped by. I hope you enjoyed. And Dave and Matt, it's been a pleasure discussing all of these topics with you. All right, so listen to this music, and we'll be back with Dave's topic next.
Good stuff. All right, good stuff. Yeah, I think it's flowing really well today. Doing a great job, guys.
Dave's topics.
Matt, you look like you want to say something, or are you good? Nope.
Oh, bless you.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice. And...
Okay, I am. All right, Kristen is safely in Denver. I feel like I have something crawling on me. I don't know what the hell that is.
Wait, save the crew work.
I can't see your video for some reason.
Yeah, sometimes that keeps happening with you, Matt. So I think that might be a you problem rather than a me problem.
I feel like that's more of a you problem.
Okay, Christian, have you been able to see me?
Yeah, I haven't lost either of you yet.
Okay, yeah. So I'm going to go with that's a Matt problem. Hey, everybody, what's going on? Wanted to give another plug for our partner, FNX.network. FNX.network is a website that has stories and podcasts about all different kinds of content: sports, entertainment, video games, lifestyle, tech, and more. They have our stuff on there, so our podcasts and tons of other blog posts, videos, articles, and so on and so forth. Go check them out at FNX.network today.
We really should start making those more fun, like all of us.
Yeah, I would love to do that. Every time I've tried to do that, is Matt frozen or is he just...
Matt's gone. He's no longer here. Bye, Matt.
Yeah, okay. I think he might be gone. Yeah, I would love to do that more. I never know if you guys want to get involved in it, because every time I start doing them, you're like, ugh.
It's because it's hilarious.
Yeah, that's
it's because you always just want to talk to and hear yourself talk. So.
I don't want to talk and hear myself talk. I just want to make it...
So that you could sweat bullets.
Yeah. I just want to make it...
Oh my God, you're disgusting.
I just want to make it good, especially for the partners, but also just like Yeah, I mean, I feel like the ad reads that I hear on other podcasts, when they both do it and both get involved, or, if all three, most of the podcasts I listen to are two people, but the more people involved, I think makes the ad reads better. So yeah, we'll talk about that maybe later.
Maybe off air.
Yeah, off air. But for right now, I think we got to wait for Matt to come back. So anyone who's watching this live, we apologize. Oh, there goes Matt. Anyone who's watching this live, we apologize. And anyone who's watching this in the future, I preemptively apologize. Not preemptively, because this is what is this? Is this preemptive? Because they're watching this. This is emptively. I apologize emptively.
I fucked up in fantasy football this week.
What happened?
Apparently, Freeman was out again.
I assume you mean Devontae?
Yes, and I didn't know on Sunday morning until it was too late, and my guy on the bench would have gotten me 13 points.
So. I'm sorry. Did you lose?
And most likely because he has one player left, and it's Aaron Rodgers, and I'm only up by 7 points. So
yeah. All right. Well,
so
that's
I probably would have lost anyway, so it's okay. Yeah. If I lose by more than 13 points, I'll be okay.
Well, you would need to lose by more than. Oh yeah.
I hate everything about Apple. My phone just got too hot.
Oh, okay.
It got too hot?
Sitting on my bed. Yeah, it said temperature needs to cool down. And
damn.
It's too hot to trot. Too cold to hold, but too hot to trot.
Never hot.
Speaking of Apple, we just got the Soccer Tavern podcast approved. So I'm going to ask you guys to go rate that and subscribe, please. Yeah. So just please just.
Wait, how does that work? How does that work through Apple?
I don't know what that means, Matt.
Like, what do you like? Is it just audio or like is it on?
Yeah. Yeah. No. So I created. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Now I understand what you're asking. I created audio files of the YouTube videos. Is that what you were asking?
Yeah. I was like, what platform are they putting it through?
Yeah. No. So I created audio files and submitted it, and then they have to review it. Okay.
It wasn't even funny that Matt didn't know what you were talking about. It was your reaction to it. You were just like,
well, I didn't
speak for a while.
Well, because I was trying to process like what he was asking, because I didn't understand the question, but I figured it out, or we figured it out together, and that's what this podcast is, guys. It's us coming together, figuring things out, and communicating.
Are you gonna start?
We were waiting for you, you fucker.
I've been waiting this.
What's up, Christian?
So speaking of not speaking, after the game on Saturday, I was out at PJ's with Colleen Lynch, and I didn't speak for probably a full hour.
That's healthy.
And she was like, "You're freaking me out. Please say something." And I just couldn't process anything that was happening around me.
So I was at the wedding. I didn't see the game. I heard we lost on like a last-minute drive or something like that.
What the? You know what? I'm not going to do this on there.
Okay. All right. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Dave's. This is my section of my podcast, right, guys? Because it's my podcast, you know? No? You don't want to interact with me now? We were just talking about being more collaborative with the podcast, Christian. You're just
What'd you say?
Hanging out to dry.
Oh, Dave's podcast? Are we talking about Dave's podcast?
Yes, exactly. I'm trying.
Oh my God, here we are. We're
at Dave's.
That's really what your section should be. Welcome to Dave's podcast.
All right, that's the name in the future. I still have something on my arm.
I like Matt's profile that he's showing in his video.
Yes. Okay. Welcome to Dave's section of the podcast. First thing I wanted to talk about, the Liga MX leader. I don't know if his title. I don't know if he's president or if he's got another title, but came out recently at a conference and said he wanted to explore creating a combined Liga MX and MLS North American League. Matt, thoughts on the creation of a North American League?
I actually kind of like it. Okay. Thought about it. I like it. Send it, full send. I think it's going to increase the quality of the league, because right now the depth in Mexico is probably a little bit better, and I think the American market is just something that's untapped to. And if the quality gets better, I think more Americans are going to start caring about it. So I think it would be a good idea, and I think it's inevitable that eventually there's going to be more like world type leagues, as like the best competition's eventually going to seek its way out. Like I know in Europe they're talking about doing like the combined Europe League. I think it's just inevitable all around the world where the best team should be playing, and in like the American market, I think it's just too big to pass up that opportunity.
Christian, thoughts on this?
What? No, I completely disagree. Like the most that I can disagree, that's where I'm at right now. I don't like when, like, other than the Champions League or like intercontinental, I don't even know, whatever. International competitions like a European league or like North American league, like a Champions League makes sense because it's the top teams just competing in one other competition. I don't think that other countries that are like have their own soccer culture, they have their own just culture in general, should be competing against each other, especially Mexico and the US. That the travel that it would take, like I just feel like logistically it would be a nightmare. And I know that it might increase the quality in the league for the time being, but every year MLS is improving its quality, and I think Liga MX is probably improving slightly every year as well. So I think that they're both doing fine in their own, and there's no reason to bring them together.
Yeah, I tend to fall more into the camp with Christian. I like countries to have their own soccer cultures, and I don't want to see this from a logistical standpoint. I don't know how it would even function, but I think they just need to invest more resources and really develop the CONCACAF Champions League and really kind of push more into that to really create something that could rival anything kind of over in Europe. And again, I mean, I know that we're trying to find shortcuts to get, to the top quicker. But at the end of the day, I think MLS is already on a really good growth trajectory. And I think as that grows and challenges, it's going to compete with Liga MX and force them to raise their level. Liga MX is already the most watched television, the most watched league on US television. And as MLS grows, it's going to kind of eventually clash with that. And so I think it's all good. I don't think we need to be in a combined league from my perspective. Matt, any thoughts on what Christian said?
I don't think we need to, but I think just like the way the world's moving and like, well, I think it's going to happen, and I don't have a problem with it. Like, and like travel wise, like why would travel? You already have to go across the entire country, like Toronto. Yeah. So do you guys have a problem with the Canadian teams being in the MLS?
I kind of do to an extent, but for whatever reason, we do that in other sports, and so it's somewhat more acceptable. But I don't love it either. I think that and that's not to say like I don't like those teams or like, I don't
Canada,
like. Right? Exactly. It's not to say like I don't like Canadians or whatnot. It's just soccer is so kind of regional to countries with their own culture and things like that. I think it would have been more interesting to just have it, just be in America or the United States, I should say. Because technically they're all Americans.
Oh,
yeah, but I don't know. For me, I don't think the travel would mean anything else. But I think.
But like, where does it stop then? Because then they could just be like, oh, all right, let's do South America and North America. Let's just make a bigger league. Like, I don't think that this makes sense, and I don't agree with that World League. I don't agree with the European League of Champions or whatever they're trying to call it over there. I like that there's individual competitions in a country, and then there's competitions outside of it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like, I get what you guys are saying, and like it's cool, like having your own culture. But I just feel like it's just becoming like so globalized, like just sports in general, that eventually, like we're sending like NFL teams, like to London eventually. Probably
it's one game against teams in the same league, though. It's not like
no.
Oh, you mean like a team?
They're
in
like
London.
actually trying to.
I did know that.
Talking about moving maybe the Jacksonville Jaguars to London. So it's like
big screw you to Jacksonville there.
Yeah. So I don't know if I just think that's the way the world's moving, and I think first the European League. I feel like that is more likely to happen than this, at least at first. So I feel like, and if a continental league is successful, then why couldn't we do it?
Yeah, I guess that doesn't mean that we should do it, right? Or that we should be in favor of it. Like, I still like all of the aspects that Christian highlighted, so I don't want to be in favor of it. The other issue or just concern I have is MLS has already proven, and I've read this somewhere. I apologize, I can't properly source where I read this, but MLS has always been on the forefront of development and things like that. They were one of the first leagues to incorporate VAR. They kind of had the referee spray. I think they were the first league to kind of use that as well. And they almost may be more likely to do something like that. And that kind of scares me to an extent. They might do it before the European League happens. And I don't know. I just would not be in favor of that. Christian, anything else you want to add here?
Yeah, America invents everything apparently, so you might as well keep it going.
Okay, that's not at all what I said, but okay. Matt, anything else you want to add here?
No.
Did you go away again?
Sorry. Leave it at whatever Christian said.
Okay, there you have it. Last thing I wanted to talk about, sticking in MLS specifically, Save the Crew worked. So it hasn't been officially announced and finalized, but basically the Cleveland Browns owners, as well as a family in Columbus, it's called the Edwards family, and actually the team doctor of the Columbus Crew, who has been the doctor since 1996, it's his family. He's Edwards, and so they teamed up to apparently purchase the Crew and will keep them in Columbus. Christian, your thoughts on, one of the league's original teams remaining in its city?
Oh
yeah, I forgot. You're not a Columbus guy.
I'm happy for them. I feel like they deserve to stay. They're one of the originals, but God, I hate that state. And okay. I wish I was wearing my shirt. I should have worn it today. But yeah, I mean, good for them. I'm glad they get to keep their team, but whatever.
Objective analysis, as always. Matt, thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, I never really had a problem with them moving. I mean, I get people care. I mean, Columbus was a good market for soccer.
They should have moved.
I know Dave is the biggest fan of just keeping everything the same for some reason.
Yeah. He's like Dad.
Yeah, I didn't move across the country or leave a corporate job for the unknown or anything like that.
Which Dave Kniddle are you?
Yeah. So, but I don't have a problem with teams moving. Like, it happens so frequently that, like, there was an untapped market. Where were they moving? Austin?
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, that was an untapped market that, I don't know.
Why do they have to move a team?
I mean, it's good for them, but, like I don't like how this became, like, the biggest story in American soccer, whereas it was, like, I don't know.
This should have been the biggest story in American soccer. We only have 20 years of history in MLS, and for them to take one of the inaugural teams, a city that has so much history for the U.S. men's national team versus Mexico, and try to move them, it would have been a huge issue, and it would have been something. It would have been really, really tough to swallow them doing that. And so I'm thankful that this is not happening and the Crew are staying. I think it's great for the league. I think it's obviously great for the fans of Columbus. And, I'm just so happy that they didn't end up doing this. The other weird piece of all of this is basically Anthony Precourt, the current owner of Columbus, is getting some sort of back-end deal to get a team in Austin. The league has basically said they will, I think this was a formal announcement by the league, that they plan to be in Austin by 2021, if not sooner. So, Christian, what do you think about Austin and Anthony Precourt basically bypassing kind of the expansion avenues as a result of this?
I don't know how he got around that. That's a weird one, but they clearly are desperate to get into Austin as a soccer market, and I don't really understand why. I don't know if that's like a big soccer hotbed. I've never really heard of anything about that. But I feel like he should be going through the same rules and regulations that every team has to when they're trying to be inducted into the league.
Matt, thoughts on Precourt getting around the expansion?
Yeah, like, I don't know the specifics of how they went about that, but I mean, it is kind of probably annoying to, like, Nashville, who was close to getting an expansion team, and a couple other cities that almost got.
Nashville did get an expansion team.
Yeah, they did. There was, I forget, whatever one was the final.
San Antonio. San Antonio was the one.
Footy McFootface. So,
that's San Diego.
No, I know.
Getting your stands mixed up.
I knew it was San Diego. I just wanted to say it. It's my favorite.
So, I mean, it is unfair to those teams, but I don't know the specifics of it. Yeah, so, I mean, good for Austin.
Okay. All right. There you have it. Yeah. So hopefully, I mean, because I did like their branding. Obviously, I didn't like the way they went about everything with with result to moving Columbus there. And so I'm happy Columbus is staying. And I'd be interested to see Austin in the league. I mean, Texas is such a huge market for soccer, and to have another team in that area with Houston and Dallas and just in the South, I think it'll be a really interesting sort of dynamic. Now, I guess MLS will be at, I don't know if that means they're still capping it at 28 teams and one of the expansion markets is losing a spot, or what's going to happen. But, more teams in the league, I'm always a fan of, and, we'll see how everything grows. So that's all I had in my section. I wanted to give 2 quick plugs for some of my projects before we get to listener questions. First up, check out FanFutsal, FanFutsal.com. It's a simplified way to play fantasy soccer. We have games featuring the 5 major European leagues, as well as MLS and Liga MX, FanFutsal.com. In addition to that, I have a YouTube channel where I make videos about the history, culture, and philosophy of the beautiful game. It's called The Soccer Tavern. I can't remember if I said that already. It's linked in the podcast show notes and video description, so go check that out. In addition to that, if you're listening to this podcast, hey, I think you like podcasts. We just started a Soccer Tavern podcast where we take the audio from those YouTube videos and make them into podcasts. It's great for if you're, driving around in the car, if you want something to listen to and just, kind of increase your soccer knowledge and all of that. So please go check out the Soccer Tavern podcast, which is new, or the Soccer Tavern YouTube channel. Greatly appreciate it. And we're always looking for recommendations or questions, feedback on videos to do in the future. So please feel free to reach out. All right, listener questions. We have a bunch this week. Thank you to everyone who sent in listener questions. First one is from the Scott Wegener, is how I'm going to pronounce that. Apologies if I did not pronounce your last name correctly.
Oh my God, you're starting to fade here, Dave.
I know. I've been talking too long. This is my problem. Do you think I could do a better job managing Manchester United than Mourinho? His style, 10 attackers, and then De Gea. Christian, thoughts?
What?
All right, of these. Do you think he's basically saying that Mourinho's not doing a good job,
and he could be a better manager?
Yeah, these are like fun questions. Can you just roll with it for once?
Yeah.
Okay. Matt, thoughts on? Do you think he could be a better manager and his style, 10 attackers and then De Gea? What do you think about that?
I mean, it's complete opposite right now, where you have 10 defenders and De Gea. So
It would make for some interesting soccer. Next question at 2 Foot Talks. That's our friend Anthony. Who wins in a fight, Mo Salah or Neymar? Matt?
I'm going Salah.
Christian?
Yeah, not that pretty boy. Yeah, it's definitely going to be Salah there.
I'd agree with that as well. I know Salah's very friendly, but I think if you can get him riled up, I think he's got a mean streak in him.
He's the Egyptian king.
Neymar strikes me as somebody who's a scratcher.
Yeah, he definitely is. He likes a cat fight. I can see it in his eyes.
Yeah, Matt, what were you saying?
Yeah. I don't know about Salah's shoulders, though. Weak spot.
There you go. Go for those shoulders. All right, next question from @WorldHotspur. That's, God damn it. That's
Hotspur.
@WorldHotspur. Sorry, Will. That's our friend Will. Any Spurs fans out there, go check out his blog, Tottenham Hotspur World. Thoughts on the UEFA Nations League? Love it, hate it, or couldn't give a damn? Also, do you think the Nations League is causing certain countries to stick their veteran core group of players instead of giving younger players a chance? Christian?
Well, I love to hate it and hate to love it. I think it's an interesting idea. I like that the top teams get to play each other in more competitive games, and I think friendlies are really dumb, but I guess they're useful in times. But yeah, I'm okay with it. And I forgot what the second question was.
Are countries sticking with their core of veteran players rather than giving like a new young core a chance?
It depends on the team. Like England completely revamped their team. So I think it just very much depends.
Did they? They revamped the team before the World Cup.
Oh, you mean after the World Cup?
As a result of the Nations League. Is it causing this?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I think it's still going to be open.
Matt, thoughts on the Nations League?
I mean, I like it in principle, like the idea of it in competitive matches that aren't, the major tournaments. But honestly, I couldn't give a damn because, America's not in it and it has nothing to do with us.
Although CONCACAF is starting a Nations League next year.
All right, so we'll cross that bridge when it comes.
All right. Do you think it's causing certain countries to stick with veteran cores instead of giving younger players a chance?
Yes. I mean, I could see that happening because, you're trying to be competitive and you want to put out the best 11. for each time. Whereas, maybe this break, the star players who are playing week in, week out at their clubs will get the break, and now they're playing competitively even on their international breaks pretty much every time.
Yeah, I really like it, but I have the same concern there. It's just fixture congestion from, I just think there's a lot of wear and tear on people's bodies, especially right after the World Cup. So that's the only thing that I'm concerned about.
Have you ever really thought about it? I just really thought about it for the first time. They call it an international break, but there is no break. It's like people are working just as hard as usual.
Well, but it's international break from domestic football.
I know, I understand, but it's like these players are not getting a break.
That's a good one. Jesus Christ. Here for the puns. Matt, something else to add here?
Yeah, well, like I'm not in my later I guess athletic. Well, I guess now I'm pretty much over with my athletic career. But when I was still playing, 18, I swear I was never tired. Do you think the World Cup puts that much of a toll on your body? Because you still get a month break after.
Yes. Is that a serious question?
Do. I can't believe you asked that question out loud.
I don't know. Christian plays year round and he's never hurt.
Yeah,
he's constantly in a state.
I mean, I'm constantly in agony, but that's whatever. I mean, it's just what it is.
Yeah, he's just a warrior. He plays through it. So yes, I think it takes us all. All right, let's keep this thing moving. Next question from @It's a deal. It's a deal. What? I'm losing my place here. Where is it? There it is. What's your best starting 11 USMNT today? You can pick your formation. Matt, you first, or do you want me to go first while you guys think?
I can go first. So I think Stefan in goal. Back four, I think I'm gonna go Miazga, Brooks, Yedlin. Left back. Not sure.
Yeah, left back.
Yeah, I don't know. Left backs are
you can come back. You can come back to that.
Yeah, okay. Attackers, I want Weah and Pulisic up top. Weah as the center striker and Pulisic right behind as the number 10 role. In the midfield, I'm going to piss somebody off, but Michael Bradley.
Weston he pissed McKinney. Me off.
Yeah. Michael Bradley, Weston McKinney, maybe. I don't know. And then on the wings, I want to see a 4-5-1, I guess, with outside mids. Landon Donovan? No. I don't know who I want to put on the wing.
Okay, Christian.
That was very good.
You keep thinking, and then we'll come back.
I'm definitely sticking with Stefan in goal and Brooks and Miazga as my center backs. I am putting Yedlin probably at right back and either Robertson or maybe even Johnson on left back. I think I'm going to go with Fabian Johnson at left back.
Who's Robertson?
Robinson?
Oh, right? Robinson. Okay. Yeah. I thought you said Robertson.
I mean, I would love to have Andy Robertson.
Yeah, that's why I was very confused.
But in center midfield, probably just in the turnover, Adams and McKinney right now. I think that they should be our center mids. And I'd put Weah and Pulisic out wide with Sargent up front. I'm going to stick with him. I believe in him. I hope that he comes good. And that attacking mid role is an interesting one. Maybe we stick with someone like Darlington Nagbe just because he has a little bit of experience right now and he's a little creative. And I like him as a player in the midfield.
Interesting. Yeah, I like that as well. So I think for me, it would depend on what we mean by best starting 11. If it's a match that we need to win today, I honestly think DeMarcus Beasley might be the left back. As crazy and ridiculous as that might sound, if it's just one game, I honestly can't think of somebody in the pool that's as experienced that still can defend as good. Robinson has clearly been exposed. And so if it's a one-off game, I honestly think it might be Beasley, as ridiculous as that sounds. Fabian Johnson isn't really playing. Anthony Robinson is learning, and I think he will grow and become better. And we have some younger players coming up, but I think he legit has a shout. I agree with you guys on the other backs and Stefan in goal. I like McKennie and Adams in the middle of the park. So I'm going to play a 4-3-3. Josie Altidore is your center striker. He's still the best striker in the pool, and so he's going to be my center forward. Weah and Pulisic on either wing, but they're going to be more tucked in. I want them to be kind of supporting Josie and running off of him a bit more. And Christian, I actually like your suggestion on Nagby. I was really struggling with who that third center midfielder would be. I think if you put Bradley with McKennie and Adams, it's just so defensive in there. So I think you want to go with Nagby in there because Adams can cover just an enormous amount of ground. So can McKennie, but I think you just lose too much if you had Bradley in there as well. So that's what I would say. Next question from I am Henry.
Dude, stop copying me.
I am Henry 666. This is our friend Henry from high school. Will Liverpool win the league? Yes. Hotel Trivago. So I think he is a Liverpool fan. Christian, any thoughts on Liverpool winning the league real quick?
Yes.
Matt?
No, but I'm going to change my original. I had them coming in like third or fourth in our, I think third in our predicted. I think they're going to be good, like challenging City all the way to second place.
All right. Next question from at S Driscoll 10. That's Steve Driscoll. When will Tottenham get the respect they deserve? Totally outclass Arsenal in every respect. I think he might be a Tottenham fan, and our friend Jack responded, best start ever and still behind us. He is an Arsenal fan, so they were going at it a little bit. Matt, any thoughts on Tottenham getting respect?
I mean, it'll happen when you win a trophy. You know what I mean? Like you got to win, and I think they are getting a little bit more respect, but you're not going to from the mass. You're not going to get cared about unless you win trophies.
Respect is earned, not deserved. Christian, thoughts?
What type of respect do they want? I feel like people look at them as a talented team and they treat them as such, but yeah, they're not a world power. They don't win anything.
All right, there you have it, Steve. Hopefully that was encouraging for you. Last question from at Pure Fitball. This is a Scottish soccer podcast. So if you're into Scottish soccer, be sure to check them out. How important has Johnny Russell been to Kansas City? Christian, I don't know if you have any thoughts here.
Yeah, so important.
Okay. Matt, I know you're a huge MLS fan, so you know exactly what this question means. Any thoughts?
Pass.
All right. Johnny Russell has been incredible for them. I know that they were struggling for goals, and there was a huge issue with them not having kind of a center striker that was producing. And Johnny Russell has been great for them on the wing. He's been just a threat in most matches. You know, everybody goes through ups and downs throughout a season. And, you know, he went through, I think, a little bit of a lull over the summertime, but, you know, he's been back and he's crushing it for them. And they're still in the race to win the Western Conference, which would mean a berth in the Champions League. They're still one of the 2 or 3 favorites to make MLS Cup out of the West. So yeah, he's been an incredible part of.
They're also the number one most annoying team in the MLS.
Yeah, we are not fans of Sporting Kansas City.
I just had a crazy revelation of I know who Fabian Johnson is and that I haven't heard his name in at least a year. And I was you guys were saying left back Fabian. I was like, who the hell is that? And then I was like, yeah, how did he go from being maybe arguably our best player to falling off the face of the earth?
I think injuries have played a big part in that.
Definitely did.
Yeah, but also, I mean, we completely failed, and that was why. We've just been incorporating in new players as a national team, and kind of given players, especially in Germany, a break. They haven't been wanting to fly him over, especially because he's very much a known quantity, late 20s. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be surprised if he's back with the national team, just given how things are trending. I mean, if he gets back fit and to a top level, you know, he could earn his way back on there. Maybe he's one of the wings that maybe he's this. No, he's not really a center. So yeah, I don't know. Christian, you want to go recap your trivia question? We'll give our guesses.
I would love to. So today, Raheem Sterling scored twice for England. When was the last time he scored an England goal? How many days ago?
Matt, do you want to guess?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I was going to, yeah.
What? Matt, do you want to guess or do you want me to go?
I was just waiting. Sorry. I know it was March of 2015, so I think I said 1,011 or 1,014 days.
So Matt seems to be very confident, so I'm going to use that and say 1,211.
Guys, it was almost dead in between. It was 1,102 days between his goals.
Yeah, before we started recording, or earlier, Matt, you said 1,111. So you should have stuck with that one. But
I don't think he did. He said 1,011.
All right, whatever. You know what? It is what it is, guys. And that brings us to the end of another podcast. If you liked what you heard, please consider leaving us a review on whatever podcasting platform you listen to us on. It goes a really, really long way. iTunes, I think Spotify, you can heart us. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out Spotify. I don't listen. But yeah, at whatever platform, if you can just, give us a rating, hopefully a good one, and reviews, it really helps us grow the show. We're trending in a really good direction. We've been growing our listeners and really excited about all of that. If you want to get in contact with us, our Twitter's at BT Soccer Pod. Our email, Christian, what's our email?
It is bros.talking.soccer@gmail.com.
And Matt, what's our website?
brostalkingsoccer.com.
Podcast.
So close.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I screwed up the when I was first making a website. We actually do own brostalkingsoccer.com, but it was with another website host, and I didn't really like that. So then I had to move that over to brostalkingsoccerpodcast.com. Hopefully we can eventually get back over to brostalkingsoccer.com. But on there, you can read about us, check out past episodes. And if you want to support the show, go to our store page. Click off of the link on that page. If you're buying anything on Amazon, no additional cost to you or anything like that, but a small percentage of whatever you end up buying, we get. And we also have some recommendations on things that we like: video games, movies, podcasting equipment, and so on and so forth. So please go visit brostalkingsoccerpodcast.com and check out the store. Christian, thank you so much for being here and talking with me this week.
Dave, it is my honor to be on your podcast yet again.
Matt, thanks for being here. All right, we've lost Matt again. His phone is too hot to handle. But we thank him for being here.
Oh,
Matt. Hello.
Oh, okay. Hey.
Thanks for having me on your podcast, Dave.
Okay.
I assume that's where you left off.
Yeah,
that is what happened. Yeah.
All right, listeners, thank you so much for being here, and we will talk to you next week. See everybody. All right, people of YouTube who have joined us, thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed yourselves. I know I did. Christian and Matt, I think we're good. Anything else you would like to say or add?
Listeners, it's been a true honor having you here, and I hope you know I'm always looking out for you.
Matt.
Bye, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
See you, everyone.